Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. I'm Jack, and I'm along with,
Tyler.
and boy, do we have a good episode for you guys today. We're going to be covering some of the trades that went down at the NHL Trade Deadline today. We'll be talking about the NBA All-Star Game, and we'll be talking about the XFL and recapping those games. So, Tyler, how are you doing?
Doing all right, man. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good. Just chilling. It's gonna be a good episode, so I'm pretty excited for that one. But how have you been this week? Like, anything good happen? Anything exciting?
Nah, nothing really. Just
Just
typical.
grinding at the school week.
You know it.
Yeah, it's a little rough. I my week's been pretty good. I just had a hockey game yesterday, and I played in the A League, so that's like the top league of like men's league. Got the win 6-5 in OT. Not the ideal score to give up goals, but I'll take a win no matter what. So a win's a win. And yeah, so I have a lot more games this week to come. I've one tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. So that's going to be so my schedule's pretty booked. But we got some good episodes coming out soon. We're gonna keep grinding away at these episodes, and they're gonna keep getting better and better.
Yeah, I can't wait. Future episodes.
Is there anything grinding your gears this week, or not really?
Well, this has kind of happened the past couple times, but I'm just gonna. If everything holds up, I'm probably gonna give a little preview.
Go for it.
It sucks. The last couple times we've had like a good snowstorm, or not even storms. Every time it snowed recently, it's always on days where I drive to school. Like the weather is always. But every time there's been a snowstorm, I've had to drive. It's been a day where I have to drive to school, and it's just crappy. I'm like, why does this have to happen? Like I got to get up earlier and like brushing off my car and allowing myself time to drive.
And worry about the dumb people driving that don't know how to drive in the snow.
And that too. And even though tomorrow is not a school day for me, I believe it's supposed to go through Wednesday. So, of course, that's obviously a day where I got to go. And I'm just dreading it because, I mean, if this snow lives up to the expectations, driving conditions are going to suck. So it just sucks. Why does Mother Nature have to make this weather bad every single time I drive to school?
Yeah, I feel that it's dumb, especially since it was like 50 degrees like yesterday and like 40 the day before.
The weather's been so much better lately. I mean, granted, it's still February, but it's been close to, like you said, 50 degrees. I mean, where has this been all season? And now, it's the typical winter weather's coming back. It's just like, what in the hell, man?
It goes from like 50, 40-degree weather all the way to like 20s or low teens. It's really dumb. I do not like how this weather plans itself. I'd rather just have like cold days be like a few months of the winter, and then have it be like 50, 40 or 50 degrees outside for like until it's spring, and none of this mixing crap.
No, yeah, I agree. Just don't give us any more bad weather.
Hopefully this will be the last of the snow, knock on wood.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it's true. I mean, realistically, I'd probably say no, but we could always give it a try.
Yeah, that is true. But I believe that's what both of us that's what's grinding our gears. So If there's nothing else you want to add, let's get right to the episode then.
No, Adam. Let's do it, man.
All right, so I think it's fitting to talk about the NHL trade deadline first, since today was the end of the trade deadline at 3:00 p.m. Eastern time. It was the deadline, and boy, did a lot of trades go down. A lot of trades that were good for teams, and a lot of teams that I don't know why they happened. So, who do we want to start off with?
I think I'll start off with the we'll save the notables for last, meaning I think you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'll start off with the first trade I saw today, and that is the Sharks sending, I believe, forward Patrick Marleau to the Penguins for, I believe, was it a draft pick?
Yeah, I believe so. I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah, that's the first trade that I saw today was Patrick Marleau going to the Penguins.
Yeah, it's probably about right. There's so many trades on this sheet right now. I'm trying to look for it, and it's just packed with all of these trades. So wait, here it is. Pittsburgh Penguins acquired forward Patrick Marleau from San Jose in exchange for a conditional 2021 third-round pick. So it was a draft pick.
Interesting trade, though. I mean, I understand the Penguins are trying to upgrade because their conference, their division is pretty stacked right now. You got to be disappointed if you're the Sharks. I mean, honestly, most people would look at the Sharks as one of the most talented teams across the whole league, and they've massively underperformed this season. I mean, they're what, fifth place?
Yeah.
In the Pacific? 56 points.
It's definitely good for the Penguins to get Marleau. He's a solid player.
Oh, this has also been a team that's been consistently making the playoffs too. Yeah. So
at least he gets a chance at playoff game.
Yeah, you gotta think that the Sharks are feeling pretty down about this year, considering, like I said, made the Stanley Cup a couple years ago. They've acquired a lot of talent over the last couple years. I mean, Evander Kane was a big upgrade, along with Erik Karlsson, the other big name. Gotta be disappointed for the Sharks. Got a lot of upgrade. I mean, losing Joe Pavelski was an interesting one, but I still felt like they had enough talent to still be considered one of the top teams. And now they're not. They're in fifth place right now, and they're a while behind third place. Yeah. I believe it's 14 points behind the Canucks. So
definitely a good move for the Penguins for sure. But you hate to see it if you're a Sharks fan.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
For the next trade that sticks out to me is Washington Capitals acquired forward Ilya Kovalchuk from the Montreal Canadiens in exchange for a 2020 third-round draft pick. This is a really good move for the Capitals since you already got Ovechkin, Backstrom, Holtby, TJ Oshie. The list goes on and on. And you just acquired a really good goal scorer, and Ilya Kovalchuk and Alex Ovechkin are both from Russia, so they both have chemistry from playing with the Russian national team, and I think those two are gonna match really well, and the Capitals are gonna destroy with these two, with like their whole roster. Their whole roster is stacked. So Capitals definitely won this one for sure.
Yeah, Canadians also, they haven't been in the best spot the past couple of years, so they've just been slowly trading away their talent the last couple of years.
Yeah, for sure. Another one I found was what was interesting is the Edmonton Oilers acquired defenseman Mike Green from the Detroit Red Wings in exchange for forward Kyle Brodziak and a conditional fourth-round draft pick. Mike Green is a solid defenseman, and it's unfortunate that Detroit's last in the whole league with, like, we were talking about this earlier, like 30 points, right?
34.
34 points.
The next lowest has 50, and that is the Los Angeles Kings.
So that's a huge upgrade from Mike Green to go to the Edmonton Oilers, because I believe they're in a playoff spot right now.
Yeah, and Edmonton, after their first, or I believe it was either first or second year with Connor McDavid, people were saying, "Oh, this is the upswing again. Edmonton is back." And then the last 2 years, they've kind of really been downplaying. They haven't made the playoffs. They've been quiet years, and so a lot of people weren't really expecting them to come back in the picture, but they're right there again. So good accusation for the Oilers and the Red Wings. It just looks so weird seeing them consistently at the bottom of the scoreboard.
They were a powerhouse team for a while there. Like 26 years consecutive making the playoffs.
Exactly, and not to mention an original 16. I don't know if they were the first ever franchise, but the slogan or term Hockey Town is not in place for nothing in Detroit.
Yeah. Anytime you see an original 16, so it's an honor to wear that jersey, I would imagine.
Yeah, so it just looks weird seeing the Red Wings down at the bottom. I mean, they are way at the bottom though, 15-45.
Yeah.
And that is not including overtime losses. That you don't really see that. I mean, most of these hockey teams that are considered not that great still end up with about 35, 40 wins compared to basketball, who plays the same amount of games as them a year. That's usually like about 25 or 20.
Yeah.
Considered like not as great. But this is just a completely different year for the Red Wings. They are very, very low compared to what a bottom team averagely looks like in the NHL.
Yeah. Is there another trade that you found that was interesting?
Well, other than the ones that I believe we will touch base on, I couldn't really find anything else. So
I have a few more. The Buffalo Sabres have acquired forward Wayne Simmons from New Jersey in exchange for a conditional 2021 fifth-round pick. Wayne
Simmons,
yeah.
From, you said what, the Devils?
Yeah.
So if I'm not mistaken, Wayne Simmons was a longtime Philadelphia Flyer.
Yeah, and then he got traded to New Jersey.
Wasn't it Nashville? Did Nashville get him? I feel like Nashville got him for a year or two. I feel like
Nashville did get him for a year, and then he went to New Jersey.
He signed with the Devils in free agency. What was it, this year?
Yeah.
That's not looking too good.
Mm-mm.
And you said he went to the Sabres?
Yeah.
Not a bad player. I mean, this has been a Braun 25, 30 goal scorer each the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And he's a veteran, so not a bad move at all by Buffalo. And Buffalo is currently in a playoff spot, correct?
I believe they are, but they could also be. No, Buffalo's not in a playoff spot. They're in 5th place in the Atlantic.
They got a very young team though, and they have been better this year.
Yeah. But they always, the past 2 years, they've always started out super strong, and then they fall off towards the middle of the season, and then they fall off again the middle of the season or at the end of the season.
They are in no means out though. I mean, the Maple Leafs are in 3rd place, 72 points.
They're 10 points out of the wild card spot.
You said 10?
Yeah.
I'm looking at division though right now. They are only 6 points behind the Maple Leafs for 3rd place.
Yeah.
So they have a better chance right now of clinching based on division rather than wild card. They got the Panthers though in the mix at 70. It's on. You got the Bruins and the Lightning pulling away. in that division. And then it's on from there. You got Toronto, Florida, Buffalo, and then Montreal all right there.
Yeah.
Within about 2 or 3 games worth of each other. So about 20 games left. This is the stretch. Not a bad move, though, for Buffalo. I got a veteran goal scorer. He's been around a while. But, yeah, New Jersey, another one. Was upswing last year. I believe they were a playoff team, and just nothing's happening for them this year.
Yeah. It's unfortunate for them. But it's a good move. I would say it's a good move for them. Another, I have a few more that stick out to me before we get to like the major ones that you know who we're talking about. And the Carolina Hurricanes have acquired forward Vinny Trocheck in exchange for forwards Eric Haula, Lucas Wallmark, Eetu Luostarinen, and defenseman Chase Prisky.
That's a lot of players for one guy.
Yeah, Vinny Trocheck was a really good. He was a really good forward when he played with Florida. So I always would turn on the NHL Network, and they'd always be talking about him. So it makes sense that there's a lot of players in this deal because what he's worth a lot to the Panthers, and the Hurricanes had a lot to offer, I guess. And then another one that I found interesting was the Islanders have acquired forward Jean-Gabriel Pageau in exchange for a conditional 2020 first-round pick, 2020 second-round pick, and conditional 2022 third-round pick. So that's a lot of draft picks that the Senators are giving up. But, again, I used to always hear this name around like a few years ago. So it makes sense why these guys have like big like names and big a lot of draft picks to get picked up. I have one or two more, I believe. Here it is. The Edmonton Oilers also have acquired forwards Andres Athanasiou, who used to play for the Red Wings, and Ryan Kuffner from Detroit, in exchange for forward Sam Gagner, 2020 second-round pick and 2021 second-round pick. So that's a really good deal, I believe, because Andres Athanasiou, he's a really good goal scorer when he was with Detroit, and it's good to see him and Ryan Kuffner, but really Andres Athanasiou go from a last place Detroit team to a playoff contending Edmonton Oilers team. And then Vancouver Canucks acquired goaltender Louis Domingue from New Jersey in exchange for goaltender Zane McIntyre, who is an AHL goalie. But this trade makes a lot of sense because Jacob Markstrom is injured right now, so they need a good backup goalie, and Louis Domingue has proved that he's a pretty good backup goalie in the NHL. The Edmonton Oilers have acquired forward Tyler Ennis from the Ottawa Senators in exchange for a 2021 fifth-round pick. The Blackhawks have acquired defenseman T.J. Brennan from Philadelphia in exchange for forward Nathan Noel. Who else? The San Jose Sharks acquired defenseman former Chicago Blackhawk Brandon Davidson from Calgary in exchange for future considerations. And I think we can get to the big stuff now that we want to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, you keep rolling, man.
All right, so I think we gotta start with this. The Chicago Blackhawks traded goaltender Robin Lehner for Malcolm Subban to Vegas. So Robin Lehner went to Vegas, and the Hawks got backup Malcolm Subban, second round. I believe it was a second round pick, I believe. Let me make sure. But I believe it was. There's so many trades here that it's literally like scrolling through a book right now.
We essentially know the basics, though. I mean, minus all the picking stuff, it was the main part of the trade is pretty obvious. The big stuff. The big implications.
Vegas also gave the Hawks a prospect Slava Demon, and a second round draft pick to Chicago. So that's what we were thinking. So we knew that. Just had to double check there. But this trade really hurts the Hawks, I believe. Robin Leonard, I believe, is a starting goaltender for the Hawks right now, and he got traded for a backup because Malcolm Subban backed up Marc-Andre Fleury the entire season. The entire time he's been in Vegas, he's been a backup. So that trade is a little iffy to me. I don't like the trade. It's just doesn't feel right that Robin Leonard is not with the Hawks anymore.
Yeah, I mean, coming back after this, coming here actually to this from this deal does not make sense for the Blackhawks. I feel like Vegas 100% won this trade, and if I'm not mistaken, I read some of the details. It was Robin Leonard technically got traded to the Maple Leafs, but something in the I forgot what it said. It got carried over from the Maple Leafs to the Golden Knights, that deal. So Robin Leonard was technically supposed to go to the Maple Leafs, but something got transferred over, and he actually landed on the Golden Knights. But either way, I agree with you 100%. I think this trade really does hurt the Blackhawks. Despite their positioning in the standings, they're not at the top. That's their starting goalie. I mean, Corey Crawford has been hurt the last couple of years now. His health has been a major concern. And Robin Leonard, wasn't he like the goalie of the year last year? Didn't he win?
Yeah, he was in contention for the Vezina last year.
I mean, yeah, you're talking about a guy who was in contention for goalie of the year, and they traded him like that. I think, though, not only is it a big loss for the Blackhawks, I think it's just as much a win for Vegas because they have two starting goalies on the roster now. Marc-Andre Fleury and Robin Leonard. Those are starting goalies. Marc-Andre Fleury and Robin Leonard are both probably top 10, maybe top 15 goalies like each. And Vegas has both of them. I think that makes them just as dangerous in the playoffs. You can play either one of them and keep them on a little bit of rest. And that's going to be tough for them to stop. I think easily the Golden Knights won that trade. No question about it. And you could argue that it either won more for Vegas or lost more for the Hawks. But I think easily the Golden Knights capitalized on that opportunity. And like I said, they got two starting goalies now. That's a huge upgrade.
Yeah, especially since Vegas has been falling back a little bit, and they've been playing Fleury a lot. So it'll be good for Fleury because he could have that break that he wasn't given before with Robin Leonard in that.
Both of them, yeah. Like I said, you could rotate them a couple times, get them on some rest, and then if they suit up for the playoffs, they got some good goalies that are on pace to make a little rotation. Start one here, start the other one there, and there you go. It's on from there.
Yeah, for sure. And the Hawks also traded defenseman Eric Gustafsson to the Calgary Flames in exchange for a 2020 third-round pick. I also don't like this deal because I don't think Gustafsson's worth a third-round pick. I think it has to be a little bit more of a value deal than just a 2020 third round pick. It doesn't really make sense to me. And he's a great defenseman too, offensive defenseman specifically.
I agree. Another kind of shaky move by the Blackhawks.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the Hawks front office?
It's going downhill, man. I mean, obviously, Chicago, again, Blackhawks fans, so talking about them a little bit here. It's not good for them right now. Ever since they won that third Stanley Cup, the dynasty, it's slowly starting to fall apart. And say what you want about them missing the playoffs once or twice after they won the Stanley Cup. Nothing really to complain there. You know, their team's rising up and whatnot. It really all started, personally for me, and I think it's going to be the same way for you, that this collapse it started when Joel Quenneville got fired, because I feel like a lot of people know that was not on Joel Quenneville.
Mm-hmm.
That was not his wrongdoing.
No.
It was the team. Joel Quenneville is probably the most respected coach in the game right now, and one of the most respected coaches. I mean, hell.
And one of the best.
The guy is second overall in wins for coaching in his career.
Yeah.
Second overall behind the great Scotty Bowman, which I don't know. I'm not sure how far he is behind, but that is a guy that will be forever immortalized in hockey. But, I mean, you're talking about a guy who's second all-time on the wins list, and you fire him.
He's helping the Panthers right now get to a playoff spot.
I would not be surprised if the Panthers win a Stanley Cup in the next 5-ish years if he's still the head coach.
Yeah, 100%, no doubt.
Just like he did with the Blackhawks.
100%.
So, I mean, it's a shame, because it's really just disappointing, because when you get a team that like that just collapses little by little, the coach sometimes is to be blamed, but other times not. This case, it was you can't really blame Quenneville for this. But
yeah,
what normally happens, they don't have the superiority over the front office. Front office, they can't fire each other. What's the front office going to do? You know, fire himself, quit? No, it's going to be on the head coach. They're gonna get rid of the head coach, and it's such a shame that I don't feel like it's Quenneville's fault at all. I feel like it's definitely the front office, and he was just not in the right spot at the right time. And the Blackhawks front office just let him go. It's a shame.
Yeah, I like how you said earlier when we were talking that the Hawks will continue to not make the playoffs for the next couple of years if they don't make changes.
Well, that's another thing too I forgot to mention. I know you wanna hop in because this is your thing, but I mean, their coaching replacement plan also not working at all. I mean, Jeremy Colleton. I mean, I understand, bringing him up from Rockford. That's the minor league system, but this guy is just he doesn't have anything exciting. Not at all. So I think, personally for me, and I'll admit, hockey is not my specialty at all. But this is just from what I see and what I hear. I think if the Blackhawks do not make front office changes, most notably Stan Bowman, and a head coaching change, again, no Jeremy Colleton, if those two continue to be on top of the Blackhawks front office and coaching staff, this team is going to continue to go downhill, because just Patrick Kane normally he can't single-handedly carry them. There's got to be other pieces to their puzzle to figure out. Yeah. It's just not the way to win.
I don't remember the last time the Hawks made a good trade. They traded away Artemi Panarin, Nicholas Hjalmarsson, now Robin Leonard, and the list could go on and on. I
agree.
The trades just aren't there. They have not picked up a good trade in a long time.
I agree with that.
Sure, he drafted Alex DeBrincat, but Rob Tallis drafted Patrick Kane, Jonathan Toews, all those guys. So the GM before Stan Bowman. So they just happen to be in the Hawks organization right now, but there has not been one single good trade in a long time for the Hawks.
I agree.
There has to be change. Has to be.
I agree.
So I believe we covered all the most notable trades. So is there any closing thoughts you want to say?
No, I mean, I think I got everything.
Yeah, so the rest of the season will be interesting, and we'll see how the playoffs are going to go and how the teams are going to match up at the end of the season. But we'll transition now to the NBA and the All-Star game. So you want to take it away from there?
Yeah, sure. So last weekend was the annual NBA All-Star game, as well as the skills competitions as well. Those are just as fun as the All-Star game itself. We saw some good stuff from that. You know, we saw some dunks, some three-pointers, and then obviously the All-Star game itself. Not that All-Star game, honestly, compared a lot of them, they don't really live up to the hype anymore. I mean, I don't know if you were watching, but nobody plays defense.
Yeah. I mean, in the regular season, they barely play defense anyways.
Oh, no. You think the regular season...
But the All-Star game, there's absolutely no defense.
There is... Nobody even tries on defense.
Yeah.
But in this All-Star game, I remember we were making we were going over the rosters, and we both agreed that Team LeBron should easily win this game.
It was not easy, though.
The rosters, Team LeBron looks stacked roster-wise, but they didn't necessarily play like they were. Well, not necessarily play like they were stacked, but it was not an easy win, let's just say, for Team LeBron. Yes, I did give it away. I'm sure most of you guys tuned in. Team LeBron did win, but it was a much closer deficit than people anticipated. And even Team LeBron had to come back for the win, I believe. I believe they were down 8 or 10 points.
Yeah, I believe so.
And there was a target score for the end, and Anthony Davis hit a free throw to knock down the win. It was 156, 155. Target score was 157. Anthony Davis got fouled. Yes, he got fouled in the All-Star game. Not a lot of fouls you see there because the lack of defense and whatever. But he got fouled. Missed the first one, actually, so everyone was kind of, but made the second one, and that's what ultimately sealed it for Team LeBron. 157, 155 was the final score. Team LeBron wins the All-Star game in, you could say, an interesting game, obviously.
Interesting fashion.
Yeah, and the MVP was the board man himself, Kawhi Leonard, from Team LeBron.
Kawhi put up 30 points that game.
30 points
Yeah.
on 11 of 18 for shooting, 8 of 14 from the three-point line. So Kawhi really had himself – and this is in 20 minutes, too. 30 points in 20 minutes on 11 of 18 shooting, 8 of 14 from three-point range. Everyone else on Team LeBron who was a starter hit under 50% from three-point range. The only other player that was anywhere near or over 50% was Chris Paul, hit 7 of 11 from three-point range on the bench. But in terms of starting, it was pretty much all Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
Team Giannis didn't put up a fight. Giannis led the way with 25 points, 12 of 21 shooting, 1 of 4 from the 3-point line.
Kemba Walker put up 23. I was not really expecting that.
Yeah. I find it interesting how Team Giannis had more players in double figures than Team LeBron, only by one player. Anthony Davis, LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, Chris Paul, and Ben Simmons all had double figures for Team LeBron. That's 6. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Pascal Siakam, Joel Embiid, Kemba Walker, Trae Young, Rudy Gobert, and Kyle Lowry all had double figures for Team Giannis. I find it interesting that more players score double-digit for Team Giannis, and they ended up losing.
Yeah.
That is an interesting stat, for sure.
I'm pretty sure their bench put up – or Giannis's bench put up more. Or wait, no, never mind. LeBron's bench put up more points than Giannis's bench.
Yeah, I'm almost positive they did.
Ben Simmons put up 17.
Yeah. No three-pointers, though, so not as impressive. That dude cannot shoot a three-pointer for his life.
Yeah. But he was fourth best on that squad, Team LeBron squad for points.
Team LeBron shot exactly 50% from the field.
It's decent.
Team Giannis shot 53.7.
Ooh.
Yeah, every player in the All-Star game scored at least a point or a basket.
Mm-hmm.
Every player scored.
You don't see that very often.
Even Brandon Ingram was the lone guy with just 1 or 2 points. He was the lowest, but every player in this All-Star game scored at least 1 basket. So that was the All-Star game. There was also the couple skills competitions, and there was the three-point contest. I believe it was. I know who won the 3-point contest? Buddy Hield from the Kings won the 3-point contest. I almost forgot his name for a second. Buddy Hield won the 3-point contest on the last shot on pretty clutch fashion. Such a shame that Zach LaVine, the hometown guy, couldn't get it done.
Yeah.
Or how about the fact that he got robbed from an All-Star appearance?
Mm-hmm.
And Chicago.
That must suck.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were saying he got robbed. So, I mean, it's whatever, I guess. But it is what it is. LaVine couldn't get it done in the 3-point contest. Buddy Hield did. On the skills competition, I believe it was what it was called. The Miami Heat, Bam Adebayo edged the Pacers' Domantas Sabonis in that skills competition. Adebayo has been a breakout player this year. I believe we talked about him on the last episode. But he's been a guy that has really, really broke out this year. And not a lot of people might know him. So congratulations to him. And then we got to talk about the I might be missing one, but I want to get enough time to talk about it. The dunk contest.
Oh.
There's controversy for this. Major controversy. I watched the whole dunk contest because that was really the only one that I was really like, oh, yeah, I want to watch. And, man.
Aaron Gordon got robbed.
It lived up to the hype, but, man, that ending could have been so much better.
Yeah.
And we put it perfect. I think Aaron Gordon got robbed once again in this dunk contest.
Didn't he dunk over Taco Fall?
Yes, he did. And so 50 is a perfect score for a dunk. 5 judges, 10 times 5, easy, you do math, 50. Aaron Gordon did, I believe it was 7 dunks before that and got a 50 on every single one of his 7 dunks.
And he still didn't win?
And the tiebreaker dunk. Okay, so, let's go over the contestants first. It was Aaron Gordon from the Orlando Magic, obviously the favorite. Pat Connaughton from the Milwaukee Bucks, first-timer. Dwight Howard from the Los Angeles Lakers coming back for his third dunk contest, a former winner, and Derek Jones Jr. from the Miami Heat, another former dunk contest participant. So, I mean, Gordon got robbed. I'll go into it, but Connaughton and Howard got eliminated early. Dwight Howard was very unimpressive, in my opinion. Not a lot of show. Connaughton, not quite enough. It was Jones and Gordon. And Gordon was pretty much outscoring everyone. I mean, Jones was catching up, but Gordon was just 50 after 50 after 50. The guy was wowing everyone. So what it came down to was in the final round, they kept getting 50s. So they went to a deciding round where it was 2 dunks, and then that'd be it. The highest guy wins. Both got 50s on their first dunk, so they had to get creative. Derek Jones Jr. went from the free throw line, almost jumped at the free throw line, and dunked. He got a 48. 2 judges gave him a 9, so he was 2 off. That allowed Aaron Gordon to try and do something crazy once again to finally take his dunk contest trophy that he was looking for. And he was running out of ideas, but who's standing there in the stands, taller than everyone there?
Taco Fall.
Doing the unthinkable is Taco Fall, the 7'5" center from the Celtics. He picks Taco Fall to dunk over. And let's just say
Aaron Gordon's not that tall either.
I don't know how tall he is actually, but on the first try, he got him. The first try. He dunks over a man who is 7'5". And you're not going to believe what happens. Obviously, everyone knows that he got 50s on all of his dunks. He had perfect dunks. The dunk where he dunks over someone that is 7'5" is not a 50. And guess what? It was a 47. That's right. Derek Jones Jr. got 2 9s to bring him down to 48. Aaron Gordon got 3 9s.
Oh.
And missed out on the dunk contest.
That's a dagger right there.
Point. And if they would have tied, people were saying they should give it to both of them.
Mm-hmm.
But they robbed Gordon of 1 or 2 points. I don't see how this is a perfect 50 when you dunk over someone who is 7'5". Aaron Gordon got robbed.
That's unheard of. 7'5"?
I'm not trying to downplay Derek Jones Jr. I thought Derek Jones Jr. was fantastic in the dunk contest.
Yeah.
But Aaron Gordon, man, this guy, he was just a little bit better. And I'm sorry, when you get perfect 50s in every single dunk before your grand finale, which is no question another perfect 50, that was not because you dunk over someone that is 7'5". Excuse me, man, I'd be pissed off.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Especially since no one is 7'5". No one. Like, there's only like a few people that are 7'5", and you jump over him and dunk it on the first try. That'd be a 50 in my book. 50 out of 50. 100 out of 100.
Not even Shaquille O'Neal is 7'5".
Yeah. And he still loses.
Like 7'2", 7'1". And Shaq is a massive human being. Taco Fall 7'5", dunked on the first try, and that is the one dunk that is not a perfect 50.
Yeah.
I don't see how. I don't
I don't either. But we should be the judges at the NBA All-Star Game for the skills competition, especially for the dunking contest. We make a good judge.
I think so, but I mean, Aaron Gordon, you got to feel for that guy.
Yeah.
This is not the first time he has been robbed, and this one is probably the worst of them all. Like I said, I am not trying to downplay Derek Jones Jr. for 1 second. I think Derek Jones Jr. was phenomenal in the dunk contest, but I feel like Gordon was just a bit better. Yeah. And they didn't give it to him. So, crazy.
Yeah. But it was an interesting all-star weekend for sure. It was a fun one to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. Another one in the books. Glad it came to our hometown of Chicago, Illinois. And hopefully we'll get another good one next year.
Yeah.
Maybe Aaron Gordon reconsiders when he said he's not going to do the dunk contest anymore because he's been robbed too many times. We'll see what happens, but
Yeah.
we're looking for another good All-Star week next year.
Mm-hmm. It'll be a fun one for sure. So, is there you want to get to the XFL now?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's transition to the XFL. Today, or this weekend, was week 3 of the XFL season. And first off, we got the Houston Roughnecks playing the Tampa Bay Vipers. The Vipers being the only team that's 0-3 right now, as the Roughnecks beat them 34-27. What are your thoughts on that game?
Not too surprised with that.
Yeah.
Honestly, the Roughnecks were showing that they were the team to beat the first couple weeks. And the Vipers, I believe, are still going into this week, the Vipers are still, or were, and still the only winless team.
Yeah.
Oh, no, wait, they were not. They were not.
They're not?
We'll get to that game later, but yes, the Vipers were one of 2 teams going into this week that did not have a win, and that streak continued, unfortunately. Well, that's what they get when they got Mark Trestman as their coach. Now, we know from experience, but in all fairness, the Houston Roughnecks have really looked like they're the team to beat in this league so far, and P.J. Walker is continuing to show the XFL that he is possibly the star of the league. And it was close. I'm sure the odds out or whatever the favor line was under. The Vipers got that one, but was not enough to get the win. So congratulations to the Roughnecks. Good start, 3-0. Let's see how long they can go until they lose a game.
Yeah. You hopping on that Roughneck bandwagon?
I don't know about that. But I'm just giving credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
June Jones, I believe, is their head coach.
Yeah, I believe so.
Former college and NFL coach, I believe. He knows what he's doing. And like I said, P.J. Walker, I mean, I actually remember when he was a quarterback at Temple. Not bad. Tried to go to the NFL, didn't really work out, and now he is lighting it up for the Houston Rockets in the NFL. So congratulations to P.J. Walker. I got the next game, or I'll just go right on in. The Dallas Renegades took on the Seattle Dragons. Oh, and by the way, the first game, the Roughnecks moved to 3-0. The Vipers dropped to 0-3, so kind of polar opposites there. The next game, the Dallas Renegades took down the Seattle Dragons on the road, 24-12. With that win, the Renegades moved up to 2-1. The Dragons fell to 1-2. Pretty interesting for the Renegades. They're on a bit of an upswing lately. And I just actually learned that this quarterback and coach combo could play in maybe sometime. Pretty underrated considering head coach Bob Stoops is the former head coach at the University of Oklahoma. Pretty legendary coach there for about 20 years. Led them to, I believe, a national championship.
Yeah.
A couple of national championship appearances.
Mm-hmm.
Very respectable coach. Came out of retirement, though. His quarterback, though, was one of his former quarterbacks at Oklahoma, Landry Jones. So these two, they had some experience, but it's on a new level now. So Dallas looks like they're figuring something out. Seattle, not the best performance, obviously at home. They were at the 12th man, so not the best performance for the Dragons. They fall to 1-2. Dallas picking up some momentum going into the big matchup next week. We could preview those if you want, but good win for the Renegades. Bob Stoops. trying to find their stride again.
Yeah, Dallas looks like more of a passing team than a rushing team because there's only 2 guys that ended up rushing for the Renegades, and then they got a lot of receiving yards from their offense.
Yeah, if you want to get the next game.
Yeah, I'll get the next game. So we got the St. Louis Battlehawks opening up against or not opening up, but opening up for their home, for being at home. So their first game at home, they ended up beating the New York Guardians 29-9 on their home opener. And St. Louis Battlehawks know how to celebrate too with the seltzer at the end of the game.
Yeah, your squad's opening up, man.
Yeah.
They're looking like they got the victory celebrations down.
Yeah, the Battlehawks are 2-1 right now, I believe, and the Guardians are
1-2.
1-2. Yeah. So.
Yeah, Guardians have been struggling after their Week 1 defeat of the Tampa Bay Vipers. It's been kind of a downfall for the Guardians. Kevin Gilbride is their head coach, and Matt McGloin is their quarterback. It's been just like a downfall. Last week, they fell to the Defenders, and they were streaking at that point. The Defenders were arguably the hottest team. So back to back, not good performances for the New York Guardians. Good win though for the Battlehawks.
Yeah. The Battlehawks seem like more of a rushing team than passing, unlike the Renegades. Because Ta'amu only threw 119 yards.
Yeah, Jordan Ta'amu.
Yeah. He went 12 for 18, 67 complete percent, 119 yards, 6.6 yards per attempt. Yeah. No touchdowns, no interceptions. So it was all in their run game, pretty much.
Yeah, and then we got the final game, which took place on Sunday. This one was a shocker. Well, pretty big shocker.
The Defenders were on a roll until this week.
The Defenders were the Defenders and the Roughnecks were the only 2 unbeaten teams heading into this weekend, and only one came out alive. And the Defenders were unfortunately the ones that did not come out alive. And actually, it evened out. The Roughnecks and Defenders were the only 2 teams without a loss. The Vipers and the Wildcats were the only 2 teams without a win. And they played each other. Obviously, one was going to stay winless, or one was going to keep winning, and one was going to keep losing, and so on and so forth. And polar opposites. Roughnecks kept the winning streak. Defenders did not. Wildcats got on the board in blowout fashion, 39-9 over the streaking DC Defenders. I don't know what sprung out of these Wildcats, but they came out and clawed the living hell out of the Defenders because Cardale Jones was looking like he was not the starting quarterback he was the past 2 weeks.
No. Mm-mm. He only threw 103 yards and 50% completion rate.
Yeah, it was not 13 of 26, right?
13 for 26, 4 interceptions.
Wow. And I'm not trying to downplay, but this is why some of these guys are not in the NFL.
Yeah.
Well, he had his chance, Cardale Jones. I believe, actually, he was on the Chargers most recently this past season, and they released him or whatever. But he was on the Chargers. He was the 3rd string, I believe, and they cut him.
Mm-hmm. And look at what he just did this weekend.
Yeah, and like I said, the winless LA Wildcat. The DC Defenders didn't defend their winning streak too well.
They did not.
Wildcats took a nice little claw out of that. But good win for the Wildcats. Defenders, maybe they'll try to regroup and see what they got next week. They got if we're gonna go in preview, it looks like they got a pretty easy win. Should be next week against the Vipers. But we'll see. We'll see what they got.
Yeah,
good win. Good job to get in the win column.
They're playing a 1-2 team next week too against the New York Guardians. So one of those teams is gonna get another win and go 2-2.
LA's got to be feeling really optimistic after knocking down the Defenders, who are arguably the hottest team. And New York has been really, really down lately. So I feel like the Wildcats have got to be going into that one very optimistic and very hungry, knowing they can get their record possibly back to 500, because the Guardians, the last 2 weeks combined, have scored 9 points.
Yeah.
And all of them were this week.
It's not the best look for them.
Absolutely not. So, yeah, that was week 3. Week 4, we kind of were touching base. This is on Sunday. The Defenders are taking on the Vipers. And if all holds up, I think the Defenders should regroup and easily beat the Vipers. Because, like I said, Mark Trestman, that's what they get when you got Mark Trestman coaching. Like I said, I'm not trying to be mean, but us Bears fans know personally. Like you said earlier, the Wildcats and the Guardians are facing off.
Then we got the Battlehawks and the Seattle Dragons facing off. So
yeah, your squad's got another home game. We'll see.
2-1 Battlehawks against the 1-2 Dragons. I believe the Battlehawks will take that one.
Yeah, and then this game is going to be really, really interesting. Probably the game of the week. The Roughnecks and the Renegades. The Roughnecks, after their Week 3 win, and the Defenders' Week 3 loss, but the Roughnecks are looking like they're the team to beat, and the Renegades are on the upswing right now. It's the battle for Texas.
That's going to be that is the game of the week for sure, 100%.
Definitely.
Two of the top teams in the XFL facing off against each other. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, can PJ Walker and the Roughnecks continue their hot streak against Landry Jones and the Renegades? We will see this weekend.
Yeah, I believe the Roughnecks are going to take this game, but it's going to be a close one.
Yeah, we'll see who can take it. We'll see if the Roughnecks can continue and move on to 4-0 and continue to be the XFL's only unbeaten team.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one.
Absolutely.
But I believe that's all we have to talk about today, right? Nothing else?
No, I don't got anything.
Yeah, so this will do it for this week's episode. So thank you guys so much for listening and watching this episode. We really appreciate it. Please comment, like, and subscribe on our YouTube channel. Listen to the episode on our Spotify, On the Spot Sports. And, we really appreciate all the support. I believe that we're going to make a website. I've been thinking about making a website for this podcast, and we could create blogs too, and just talk about experiences and different games of the week and stuff like that. So that'd be interesting. Would you be down for that, Tyler?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that will be in the talks in the next week or so. So stay tuned for that, and we got more interviews coming up soon. Got more episodes. We're trying to get as many episodes as we can in a week that we're going to record. So we'll probably record another one later in the week. And we're just going to keep rolling, keep having fun with this. Thank you guys for the support. Follow us on Instagram at on the spot sports with underscores in between each word. So _spot_sports. And yeah, see you.
See you guys.